Hello, football fans. Well, we have 4 weeks left in the NFL season, and it's getting down. It's getting down to the real nitty gritty here. Um, there's still quite a bit left to be decided, so let's not waste any time. First, let's take a look at the standings and where things stand entering the final 4 weeks of the season. First off, in the AFC, the Kansas City Chiefs, who've just captured the AFC West for the ninth straight year, lead the conference at 12-1. And then you have the Buffalo Bills and the Pittsburgh Steelers at 10-3, tied for number two. The Bills have the number two spot thanks to the straight of victory tiebreaker, putting Pittsburgh at number three. At number four, it's the AFC South leading Houston Texans at 8-5. Seed of 8-5, that's the record belonging to the Baltimore Ravens, the LA Chargers, and the Denver Broncos. But it's Baltimore at number five because they beat the Chargers. The Chargers are six because they beat Denver, and which puts Denver at number seven. Below the playoff line, there's not much there. It's the Colts, Dolphins, and the Bengals. Colts and the Dolphins are kind of long shots at 6-7, and the longer shot is Cincinnati, who could actually be eliminated this week. And now for the NFC. In the National Football Conference, the playoff-bound Detroit Lions stand at 12-1, and at second the conference is the Philadelphia Eagles, who are also playoff-bound and at 11-2. At number three, it's the NFC West leading Seattle Seahawks at 8-5, while the Tampa Bay Buccaneers take the fourth spot and the NFC South lead at 7-6. As for the wild card positions, the Vikings are 11-2 at number five. The Green Bay Packers are still at number six, but now at 9-4, and the Washington Commanders, coming off a bye week, are still 8-5. Right behind the playoff line, the Rams are kind of knocking on the door in more ways than one at 7-6. Not only are they one game out of the wild card spot, but they're one game out of the division as well. And then you have 3 6-7 teams: um, the Falcons, Cardinals, and the Niners. The Falcons' conference record puts them at number 9, while head-to-head puts Arizona over San Francisco. The Saints and Cowboys are hanging by a thread, and the Bears and Panthers are pretty much done. Those two could be eliminated this week. So can Dallas. So those are the standings entering Week 15. As for clinching scenarios, a couple divisions can be clinched, and a couple more teams can join the playoff party. And they are as follows: with the win this past weekend over the Browns, the Steelers have now earned the right to clinch a playoff spot this week, Week 15. It's a big improvement from the last 3 seasons where they only needed the final week to try to get in, and two of those times they did. But this week they can get in and they actually control their own destiny. All they have to do is win or tie, and they're in. Plain and simple. If not, the backdoor solution has Indy and Miami both failing to win. Um, Steelers have a pretty dangerous opponent ahead of them. They're facing against their in-state rivals, the Philadelphia Eagles, and that's in Philly. That's going to be a hell of a game right there. The Texans haven't made things easy this season, but they are still in first place in the AFC South by a bit. It's a 2-game lead. Technically, it's a 3-game lead because they swept Indy in the season series, and they do have a chance to clinch the division this week. But there's only one way they can do it. They got to win, and Indy has to lose. Houston hosts the Dolphins this week, while the Colts have to go to Denver to face the Broncos. That's going to be very interesting. So, Houston with the win could also kind of further dampen Miami's playoff hopes, even more than they already are. The Eagles locked in a playoff spot last week, and now they enter this week with a chance to wrap up the NFC East All they got to do is win, or Washington has to lose or tie. Actually, I'm sorry. The Eagles win and Washington loses or ties. They get it. If Philly ties, Washington has to lose. Now, I said before, the Eagles host the Steelers. The Eagles host the Steelers this week. As for Washington, they're in New Orleans facing a Saints team that needs wins badly. Yes, the Vikings have another chance to clinch. Now, last week they had longer scenarios, and the thing is, if scenarios don't work, if scenarios don't work out, it's still all good, even if you win. Because if you win, that means chances are the following week you can control your own destiny, even if that week's plan doesn't work out. How simple is Minnesota's scenario? Well, they do control their own destiny in more ways than one. There's three ways they can get in, and they're all so simple. A win or tie will do it, or the Rams lose or tie, or Seattle loses or ties. Simple, isn't it? And it gets even more simple. The Vikings host the Bears on Monday Night Football, one of two Monday games. Oh boy, yeah. So they can pretty much waltz into playoffs right there. And there's another team who can get in this week, and here's the logo for that. Oh man, the Packers. It was rough on Thursday Night Football in Detroit. It was a heartbreaking loss, and to be honest, I kind of thought we would have to wait an additional week to clinch. But even with the loss, even with the loss in Week 14, Week 15, we can find our way in. The Packers can clinch a playoff spot. There's one way to do it. It's a doozy, though. Here's what has to happen. We have to win the Rams Niners game on Thursday Night Football, that has to end tied. And the Falcons have to lose or tie. So yeah, Thursday, like I said, Thursday Night Football, the Rams play the Niners, and that game has to end in a tie. There can't be a winner in it. And as for us, we don't host, I'm sorry. We're in Seattle on Sunday Night Football against the Seahawks. And the Falcons are playing the other Monday night game, but it's against the Raiders. So the way Falcons are kind of going, people wouldn't be surprised if they do lose that game. So, but yeah, chances are we may have to wait till next week to clinch. So I don't know. We're kind of overdue for a tie because we didn't get one last year. And those are the clinching scenarios for Week 15. If you want to read more about it, but the link to my story on Vocal is shown up above. Check it out when you can. So, if you like this video, click the like button. If you're on YouTube, click subscribe if you want more. If you're on TikTok, feel free to hit that follow button. And I'll be back on Tuesday to recap Week 15. Hopefully I'll be celebrating a playoff berth for the Packers, which means the Rams and Niners will play to a tie at least. So stay tuned.